Hey guys, it's Jen from Beauteque, and today is a special day because, against my better judgment, I decided to go pick up the Morphe James Charles palette. Now I say against my better judgment, not because I don't like Morphe, but the truth is I don't trust Morphe. I don't trust them to be consistent with their palettes. Now, when I first heard about this palette, I was like, you know what, I don't want it. Their last few palettes, the Boss Babe palette, Jack on Hill's Vault palettes, were very bad in my opinion. They lacked pigmentation, they were patchy, they were dry, they were not great palettes. I was like, this one is going to be the same. I haven't swatched it, I haven't done anything with this. I'm doing it all on camera for you to see for the first time. So, here's my deal. This is the same layout as the Dare to Create palette, which is perfection. Same layout, different colors. This formula is perfection. This and Jack on Hill's original white, all white big palette, her OG palette, are the best palettes Morphe's ever put out. And I don't just mean the color, I mean the formula was perfect, the pigmentation was perfect, everything about these palettes were perfect. My hopes is that this will be perfect too. This palette is $39. I got it from Ulta because if I want to return it, I don't want it to be a hassle, so. And I don't have a Morphe code, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of this palette. I haven't watched any reviews. If you have a Morphe code, I don't give a shit what you think about this palette because I don't trust your opinion anymore. Unfortunately, nowadays, the bigger you are on YouTube, the less I trust. There is a handful of YouTubers I do still trust, but for the most part, I don't trust a lot of them. So I'm going to try this out to share my feelings with you guys, and you can believe I'm going to be 100% honest, whether it's good or bad. So let's do this. And I'm not sure what kind of look I'm gonna do with this, but I'm not really concerned with the look I'm coming out with. I'm more concerned about how these are going to perform. So this may not be a very entertaining look, but again, that's not really what this is about. All right, so we're just going in with the shell color to kind of... All right, so not too much to say about the first two shades because they were very flesh toned, this corner and this one right here. And now we're gonna get a color that should show up. So I'm gonna go in with kind of this burnt orangey shade. That's pigmented. All right, I'm gonna take the shadow right next to the orange shade, which is more of a, just a slightly deeper one. Okay, this one's pigmented too. I'm just gonna keep going down this line right here. I'm gonna do two different eye looks, that's what I'm gonna do. In my experience, it depends on the color. Cool shades tend to be patchier than warm shades. So this side will be warm and this side will be cool, and then we can really see if everything in here is like good. Does that make sense? But I'm gonna speed through all this, so because again, this could take me all goddamn day. And then we'll go through everything together. All right, so this deep shade that I just used on my lid is a little bit patchy, but I mean, nothing horrible. So I'm gonna put down a glitter glue and top this look with one of the gold metallic shades on here. Now, I always use glitter primer whenever I use any kind of satin or metallic shade with any kind of shimmer in it because I think that no matter what color it is, it always makes it look better, so I always use it. So it doesn't really matter to me how this looks without it, but I mean, the swatch is pretty shitty. Like, it's not very good for the swatch, but on the glitter glue, I think it looks good. Now, even with the glitter glue, it's not as great and as like blinding as I was hoping it was going to be, but it did the job. Now we're going to go in with the cool side, and this is where I'm going to be using basically most of these shades because these are the ones that usually look like shit. Like, they usually just don't apply very well. I've really yet to find a blue, purple, or green that like blends or goes on beautifully. So here we go. So this is the light green shade. Now I'm going to go in with, I guess I'm going to go in with a blue. It's like a medium blue, I guess. Now obviously I'm putting it over like a sheer green color, so it's not going to be true to color, but it doesn't seem to be patchy, so that's promising. And now the last color I'm going to do on this eye, I think, is like the deep kind of plum purple shade before I go and do a metallic. Even the purple's not bad, but it's not as deep as it looks in the pan. So I'm gonna go in with my finger and apply the rest of this. All right, so it is actually going on much better with my finger, but if you are not a finger applier, you may not love how this is coming out. But I always apply any lid shade, which is like, you know, the very bottom of your lid, or metallic shade. I always do it with my finger. I just think it gives off the best payoff that way. All right, we're gonna go in with glitter glue again. And I think I'm gonna pick the kind of lizard green metallic shade. I am going to finish the rest of my makeup and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about this and I'm gonna tell you if I think this is worth it or not. All right, so I have a bit of a dilemma that I'm facing. As per usual, the warms in here performed great, but that's not a weird thing. Warms usually do. The cools also performed okay, but not amazing. So I wanna say from the big pans down, great. The cools, just okay. What I'm actually gonna do real quick is do some brush swatches on my hand of the cools so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. And I'm actually going into some of them that I didn't use to get more of like an idea. These two colors came out the best. I have nothing on my hand. There's no primer, there's nothing. The teal shade over here and the green right here came out great. The light purple and like the periwinkle blue were just meh. They're kind of just washes of color, like they're kind of sheer. Which, I mean, you know, it's a $40 palette. It's not, you know, your expectations can't be abundantly crazy or out of this world, but I mean, not, you know, not bad. Is this a palette you need? Absolutely not. And I think if you do decide to try it, which you may love it, and that's with any palette. I mean, these are just my opinions. You may get this and hate it. You may get it and think it's the best palette in the world. But is it worth trying? Sure. It's not the worst Morphe palette, absolutely not. Like, I mean, it's not as good as the 39A, I'm gonna say that right now, but it's not as bad as Jack on Hill's Vault, in my opinion. So, I mean, is this worth 40 bucks? I guess it could be, you know, if you get a lot of use out of it. The metallics, I definitely suggest using a glitter glue, but that's with any metallic. Even the mattes, they tended to blend really well. I didn't really have an issue with any of them. Some of the cool mattes were kind of patchy, but again, not the worst that I've seen. If you get this, I recommend getting it from Ulta. So if you want to return it, it's not a big deal. You don't have to mail it back and wait for your money and pay for it to be returned or whatever. I recommend getting it from Ulta if you want to try it. If you have tried it, definitely let me know in the box below what you think of it. This isn't the exact formula as the 39A Dare to Create. It's just not, but it's definitely close. It's worth checking out if you're interested in it. Again, make sure you check the box below for everything I used today if you want to know what I'm wearing on my face and everything. Okay, and that was it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.